God has given us a number of senses: the sense of hearing, the sense of seeing, the sense of smelling, the sense of tasting, the sense of touch. It's hard to imagine what life would be like if all of those senses were suddenly gone. Just to lose sight alone is a profound experience. But while we often give credit to those marvelous senses of vision and hearing, which indeed are some of the very best evidences of God's handiwork, our sense of taste and our sense of smell work together. When we have a cold, things do not taste properly. And it's not because our taste buds aren't working. It's because our olfactory ability, the ability to smell, is not working properly. It's interesting. You can take a drop of vanilla extract, for example, place it on your tongue while holding your nose. You will get no real sense of flavor until you unplug your nose and start breathing. And the breathing is interesting. It's reverse breathing. You're breathing out, not in. Taking the bouquet from the oral cavity and from the pharynx and running it out through the nose. And with this reverse breathing, we get most of the nuances of flavor. And then the taste buds themselves are amazing. Were it not for salivary glands, the taste buds wouldn't do us a lot of good. Because for us to taste something, it needs to be dissolved in water. And we have a pair of wonderful glands on each side, right about here, just ahead of the ears, called the parotid glands. It produce not just water, but it's a very watery type of saliva. And then we have a couple of other larger salivary glands, the sublingual, under our tongue, and the submandibular in the mandibular area, that produce a more mucus type of saliva. So saliva could be watery or mucus. And what type of saliva is produced depends on just what you're eating at the time. Some foods and flavors and bouquets will initiate the watery saliva, others the mucus saliva. If you take paper napkins and stuff them in your mouth and dry your mouth out very thoroughly, and then immediately after that put a spoonful of sugar on your tongue, you'll think you put sand in your mouth. It'll be gritty and there will be no flavor. But as soon as those parotid glands respond to this challenge of a very dry mouth and start just literally squirting water out into the oral cavity, the sugar then starts to melt, doesn't taste like sand anymore, and the sweetness is there. And where are the cells that do the tasting? They're down inside of taste buds. They're shaped like little miniature barrels, and they're all along the surface of the tongue. If you look in the mirror, you'll see little kind of scattered, tiny round spots in your tongue. These are called fungiform papillae. They look like small toadstools on top of your tongue, and the taste buds are in those. We have other taste buds along the side of our tongue. We even have taste buds that are so far back in our mouth that I'm sure the Lord wanted us to taste that bitter pill no matter how far we threw it back. We have taste buds on our epiglottis. So the taste buds have little tiny holes in them, and the taste cells that are hooked up to the nerves that go to the brain that sense taste interact with these little taste cells, and the little taste cells have tiny hairs on them. Smaller by far than a human hair. And to taste something, that substance must be dissolved in the water of your saliva, for example, and soak down through that tiny little pore, which is microscopic, and be exposed to those little hairs. And you take that and combine it with a bouquet smell. You get all of the nuances of flavor. By the way, we even have salivary glands lining our lips on the inside. This, to me, if that's all the evidence I had for God, this would be enough. Ever have your lips stick to your teeth a little bit? It can be annoying sometimes. That's normally prevented by the fact that we have mucus-producing salivary glands that line the inside of our lips, and that keeps the lip nice and slippery over the tooth so that it doesn't stick. Oh, it just goes on and on.